Thank you so much. We are joined now by Marisa Tomei, who always shines in an array of roles. Take a look.
My biological clock is ticking like this, and the way this case is going, I ain't never getting married. Handle that, judge.
Audiences will always remember her Oscar-winning performance in My Cousin Vinny. She earned 2 more nominations for the drama In the Bedroom and the highly acclaimed The Wrestler. Well, now Tomei is back on Broadway, starring in a play called The Realistic Joneses. This is a dark comedy about neighbors who share the same last name and whose lives become very intertwined as well.
I always wanted to live in one of these little towns near the mountains. So one night he comes home and literally just says, I forget what you said exactly.
Just something about moving to one of these little towns near the mountains.
That was it. It was all sort of a whirlwind.
The time had come. It's what my lady wanted. And what my lady wants, with some huge and basic exceptions, my lady gets.
Marisa Tomei, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I heard for this play they kind of had you at hello. When you heard the character's name was Pony, you're like, I'm in.
That is true. And there's a lot of promise in that name.
I know, there's a lot of character in that name.
Yes.
This is an interesting story. I mean, it manages to be funny, but there are some kind of deep themes in it. These neighbors, they're right next door to each other, and their lives become intertwined. I don't want to give it away, so why don't you give it away? Tell her.
I thought you were doing so well. Like, she's going to be able to say it.
How would you describe the story?
Well, I think it's very fun. It's a very funny story, as you were saying. So there's a lot of laughs throughout it. So it's a broad comedy, but it also works on thematically about illness and the fact that both of the neighbors' names are Joneses. It plays on the theme of coveting what your neighbor has, and do you really want everything that they have? Sometimes what they have is not so hot.
And your character Pony is, I would call her kind of relentlessly chipper.
Yes,
is that a
to
good way
the
to
point of maybe a little absent-minded. Yes, relentlessly chipper. She's a happy person. It is fun to go to work and have to be that happy every day. And ignorance is bliss is definitely part of her character.
I've heard that you've described there's something on the stage where the feeling is just so excited to get that instant feedback. But I imagine it's kind of a high wire, too, because if they don't laugh when they're supposed to, you don't get the reaction you want. Is it a little scary being on stage?
Yeah, it is always a little scary, but it's nice to have that little bit of a goose.
Yeah. So you were mentioning the backdrop is between neighbors. So it kind of had me wondering, I mean, do you consider yourself a good neighbor? Are you a neighborly person, or are you the kind of person to, like, avert your eyes and grumble good morning?
I hope I'm not like that. Well, you know, my dad was very civic-minded, is very civic-minded, and he's always the president of the block association, even from when I was little, till now, where he lives now. And so I think I have that mindset of, I like that feeling, too, of knowing my neighbors and making sure someone has their key, and, it's the little lovely exchanges that are really nice, and then sometimes you become great friends too.
I was thinking about, we started this introduction of you with My Cousin Vinny, which of course is a classic role. Do you love that you're still associated with that role more than 20 years later, or are you kind of over it?
I had a period where I was over it. Now I'm back. I'm back loving it again, because it's really nice that it still makes people laugh.
When I went to law school, actually my criminal law professor told us we had to watch My Cousin Vinny because it actually was correct.
Oh my gosh.
What's the line that people most often quote to you?
The biological clock line, yeah. Yes.
They stamp the foot and all that.
Yes, yeah.
Well, Marisa Tomei, it's so great to see you.
It's nice to see you, too.
I want to remind everybody you can catch The Realistic Joneses at the Lyceum Theater here in New York.
And you're a lawyer. I know. I caught that.
I know. Okay. Coming up next, don't hold it against me. Okay. The Biggest Losers, Bob Harper is here. He's going to teach us